Welcome back. With the people of Ukraine so desperate for humanitarian and supplies, we are launching a new series that's focused on how to help.
Yeah, Vicki Wynn is here to walk us through some really important information on organizations that are offering assistance.
Before we get to Vicki, though, NBC's Kelly Kobier is going to join us now from Poland, where some of the millions of Ukrainian refugees are now taking shelter from the war. Kelly, good morning to you.
Yeah, good morning. This is one of the busiest border crossings all along the Ukraine border. Basically, this town doubles in size every day. 50,000 refugees coming in from Ukraine. You can see some of these families behind me, most of them women and children, coming here, like in other border crossings, with just a suitcase.
Across Ukraine's borders, the need is growing by the minute. Tens of thousands of women and children arriving every morning, cold, tired, and hungry. Volunteers offering hot soup and a playmate for the youngest refugees, like 2-year-old Alina. Her grandmother says, "We were afraid, but our husbands were even more afraid. That's why they sent us here." The UN says more than 2 million refugees have now fled Ukraine. 1 million are children. UNICEF calling it a dark historical first.
This is the favorite toy from home.
A dancing dinosaur, the only thing 5-year-old Sophia could bring from home. Her mother says everything they have is in this suitcase. "I was lucky to have this," she says. People were leaving without anything.
The people who are coming now have less means than the people who came initially. And they've also experienced more likely conflict directly, so they're probably more traumatized.
And many now have no friends or family to take them in, like Ludmila and her children. Their town is under attack, her husband home fighting. Putin and the Russian army are destroying Ukraine and Ukrainians, she says. This gaming company offering her family and dozens of others a place to sleep. There's now a desperate need for shelter. This expo center in Warsaw can sleep 10,000. And a need for better coordination. Michael Capone, founder of Florida-based Global Empowerment Mission, now setting up a warehouse to distribute mountains of donations.
A church might be lacking baby food, and another camp may only be lacking water. You don't want the overlap.
I mean, the need here is immense, and it's growing every day.
I've been on disaster fronts for 20 years. This will be by far, and it already is, times 1,000 of anything any organization or the UN has ever seen.
And GEM is also partnering with Bethany Frankel's Be Strong to get plane tickets for people who have family in other countries so they can have a more permanent place to stay. And guys, if there's one, Savannah, if there's one bright spot, really, it's in what you see behind me. It's in all of these volunteers and aid organizations who have come out to try to do what they can to help these people. Savannah?
Yeah, and it sounds like the people of Poland have been just incredible. Kelly, thank you. We want to drill down on this. We brought in Vicki Wynn to tell us about some of the organizations that are reputable and working to help the people of Ukraine. We're going to put a QR code up on the screen right now. It'll take you to our website. You can find more information there because there's a lot we're about to tell you. It's important. Vicki, first of all, just what are the basic needs that the Ukrainian refugees really have right now?
Yeah, Savannah, they are in emergency mode right now, as we just saw in Kelly's piece. Think about what happens here after wildfires in the West or after Hurricane Ida. People need food, they need water, they need shelter. But beyond that, they also need spending money. So they have some agency over what their specific family needs. When it comes to specific supplies, think mothers, children, babies. So diapers, formula, that's very expensive. And other things people don't always think about, over-the-counter medicines, pain relievers for adults and kids. And we don't want secondhand things for, you know, socks, underwear, feminine products. So those are all of the things that people need in the immediate aftermath. But you don't want to make raw donations because that takes sorting, it takes shipping, it takes distributing. Aid workers really say the best way to donate is money so they can be flexible and agile.
They need cash. They don't need a bunch of stuff coming that way, even if it could get there. These are just, you've got a whole list of organizations that are vetted and reputable and doing work in Ukraine. Let's just go through a few of them that feel very specific to Ukraine.
Okay, and many of them are on that QR code or on a list on today.com if you missed them here. But we'll start with Global Empowerment Mission. They're based in Miami, but they have workers on the ground in Poland that are using your donations to buy plane tickets and train tickets to get the refugees out of the camps and the tents into relatives and friends' homes. World Central Kitchen, we know our friend Chef Jose Andres, he's there, he's feeding people. And then finally, Global Giving, Ukraine Crisis Relief Fund. That money is going directly to food and medicine for Ukrainians right now.
We got a list of big organizations.
Yes,
the big ones like UNICEF and Doctors Without Borders, they're
all there too.
Let me give you to Hoda.
All right, Vicki, one of the things that's breaking our hearts is watching all these kids and all the need that's out there. And every person I know is saying, what can I do? How can I help? What do they need? So what is it that we can do? What do they need?
And Today Show viewers really are the best, really. Save the Children says right now we're looking at 7.5 million children who are in harm's way, either from physical harm, emotional harm, or displacement. So they are, they've set up this Ukraine Crisis Relief Fund to help children not just with food and medicine, but also educational resources. So to think about that, stability and routine is so important. The last 2 years, we've been upset by the pandemic. Now those kids are going through this. I also want to mention the International Rescue Committee. 87 cents of every dollar goes directly to help refugees. And Hoda, you were going to talk to me about the orphanages,
Well, yeah,
right?
no, because we were watching these kids in the orphanages, and everyone was like, what can I do to help? How can they even get out of there? And if they could, how could we help?
The reality is a lot of these kids have special needs. Not everyone will be able to get out of Ukraine. So you need to think about organizations that are helping people who are there in Ukraine. I want to bring your attention to the International Committee of the Red Cross. They have so much experience. They've been in Ukraine since 2014. 600 workers there. They're sending more. They're helping with food and water, but also helping to reunite families, Hoda.
Yeah, and what about there are kids who are stuck there, who are can't get out. So what about for them?
It's so difficult. There are many adoption agencies. There are also groups that are specific to orphanages there. And so what I would say is certainly do your homework, check on Charity Navigator, GuideStar, if you really want to be specific to those orphanages on the ground.
All right, great. Thank you, Vicki. Going up to Craig.
All right, Vic, let's talk about housing here for a moment, because, again, we're talking millions of folks leaving their homes. What can you tell us about organizations that can help specifically with that part of this crisis?
Housing is essential right now, and it's incredible the ingenuity of the people who are turning their offices into shelters or their gyms or their dance studios. But all of that is temporary, Craig. So you really want to look at organizations that are giving people the means to get out of Ukraine and to other parts of Europe, other parts of the world where they have more stable housing. Razom for Ukraine, a longtime organization that's been working in that country. And, of course, we talked about the Global Empowerment Mission. Those are the two really focused on getting people into stable housing.
We're going to dig into this a bit more during the third hour, but scams. One red flag. How can we know, maybe this organization isn't legit?
Yeah, we really want people who are donating their hard-earned dollars to use nonprofits that have been vetted by organizations that you trust. We here have a corporate social responsibility team at NBC News. They have looked at these organizations. So if you're scanning that QR code or you're going to today.com, you can have a measure of confidence that that money is going to go where you intend it to go. But certainly we're going to talk a little bit more about the red flags and things to look out for. I want people to really be careful about what they're seeing on social media right now. It's emotional, and scammers know that, and they want to take advantage of your goodwill. So we want to make sure your money is put to good use. We're going to talk a lot more about that. Do not click on any links that are unsolicited that have been sent to you, whether it's email or text. Take a moment. Research the organization before you put your financial information in.
And Becky, again, you can learn more about how to help. You can scan that QR code right there on our screen. Head to our website, today.com.
Vicki, you did your homework. You did a lot of good right there.
Really
Thank you so much.
Hey, thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Find your favorite recipes, celebrity interviews, uplifting stories, shop our favorite deals, and so much more with the Today app. Download it now.